Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. In this episode, we're pretty much just going to go around and do a lot of housekeeping and cleaning up of our lines. I've been reading some of the comments and there's a lot of really good suggestions on things we can tweak and adjust to just help ensure that our efficiency stays up and we're not sort of hurting ourselves when it comes to traffic and some of our layouts and bus loops. So one thing someone brought up is to think about lane mathematics when it comes to our interchanges here, so that cars don't always use one lane and sort of block traffic. If we, for instance, here, if we downgrade this to a one-lane road and do something like this, then all the cars that are taking this road will be forced to come onto this lane when they rejoin, and therefore cars coming in on this on-ramp won't have to stop for the traffic that's coming in here, and then they can sort out which lane they need to be in as they come in through here. So we're just going to do this for the rest of the interchange here, and we'll see what that looks like in the end. Alright, so here's what our interchange looks like with the new lanes. We did have to go through and redo these and make the distance between the on-ramp and off-ramp a little bit longer, because if you can see here, the cars switch lanes, and if it's too short, they get locked into the lane and they don't really get to a point where they can switch over. So we just had to make some of these a little bit longer so the cars have time to switch lanes, and as we can see, everything's moving pretty smoothly. This little backup here is just from when we were doing construction earlier and some of that got backed up. Anyway, we're going to go around. We're not going to do this to every interchange. I think we're going to go around and take a look at the ones that absolutely need it. So some of our high traffic ones, we'll go through and take a look at these, and we'll go and do that on those interchanges. So this highway here isn't really backed up too much anymore, but just for the sake of keeping traffic flowing, we are going to do that for this one. So we're going to come in here and we're going to change these into 2 lanes, and the same for up here, and then we're going to go through and adjust the ramps real quick. Alright, so here's this intersection done. We're probably not going to see any effects of the results immediately. And then just down the street, the other one I want to do is this one. And I think this might be the last one that we're going to do, at least in this video. Alright, now this interchange is done. Hopefully that'll get some of these cars off of here, as we see a lot of them are wanting to turn. That'll just keep things flowing. Now, I said the last one was going to be the last one, but this one's actually going to be the last one after I just went through and checked them all, because this is pretty bad. So let's get in here and see what we can do. Alright, so I'm not too sure how this is going to work out in the end, but we at least do have it sort of working in here. I just noticed, I think another one of our issues is this being a left turn only lane, which that's something we don't want. Let's see if we can get this to come in as a 3-lane road. See if maybe that helps split this traffic up more. Interestingly enough, we do have immediately cars filling up both lanes, which was probably the root of a lot of this traffic here. It was all getting squeezed into one lane, which doesn't really work out on a highway too much. Alright, so now we're done with some of our highways. We should come in here and let's take a look at some of our lines and replace some of the really old ones that we have on here. So we have this one here running on some very old buses. We'll come in and it looks like we've unlocked a new bus. I think we'll go with the one that we've been going. 5 on there should be good. Another line here. We'll replace all of those. And now I think all of our bus lines are pretty updated, except for this one. This one does have some very old buses on it, long overdue for an upgrade. I think that'll be it for upgrading our buses. We'll upgrade the trucks another time, but the reason why we upgraded the buses is because we need to make sure people continue moving around in our cities. And in some of our cities where they're just so big, I think it's about time we can split this up into 2 different bus loops. So let's start here in Clearwater, as even our most recent bus line with, I think it probably has close to 9 or 10 stops, doesn't even cover the whole city. So let's pause and think about where we want our 2 loops to be. So there's sort of 2 things we could go for. We could either go this side of the city and this side of the city, or we could go up here and do sort of the top side and the bottom side. I'm not too sure which one I want to do because getting people to and from the train station is probably one of our biggest priorities. So that would make sense to have one loop on this side and another loop on this side. However, it doesn't really split the population that easily. Anyway, let's get our bus stops down. For now, we'll just make sure we're covering everywhere that we need to, and then we can worry about where these lines run later. So we're just going to make sure everything's getting covered. And I think with that last stop, we pretty much have the whole city covered. So let's find our Clearwater bus line. We want to come in and manage the line. And we do have 10 stops on here. So we'll remove all of these, start from scratch. Of course, we're gonna want to start down here at the train station. And I think we will go this side and this side. That does mean that one side might get a little bit more heavy loads, but I think it's important for this area to function. I did realize that we had truck stops instead of bus stops, so I just went through and fixed that. But we should be good to go now. And so once we're on this street, I wonder why this is doing a loop. I think we need to add a bus stop on the other side. So there we go. That works out. And then we can add this station here, and now that's this side of Clearwater covered. And I think we'll even replace these buses with, let's do these. They are a little longer, so they'll take up more space on the road, but I don't think it'll be terrible. So now we can let that run, and we'll need to find our road depot, wherever that is at this point. I think we'll just use the one out of Alexandria, and we'll get a couple more buses. Let's go with 10, and we'll get them on a new line that goes around the other side of Clearwater. So this will come up this main street, and then it'll come off and go through this side of town. So now that's this side all set up, and they ended up with about the same number of stops. This side's just a little bit more compact, but I think that'll help split up the workload a little more evenly. I am worried about this train stop getting too packed. We'll just sort of have to see how bad it actually gets, but for now I think we'll be pretty much okay. Now, I don't think we're going to make any more sort of double loops in any cities right now. And the last thing I want to do is just go through. I think Arlington is really the only one that needs it really bad right now, but just expand our sort of reach with our bus stops. So we'll just come in at a few more stops, and then just simply adjust the passenger line here. So we'll want to get rid of that stop, and then we'll want it to go around and back through, and this loop looks to be pretty good. So we'll leave that one here, and then the last city we'll take a look at is Louisville here. This one's much worse than I thought, but I don't think it's not terrible yet. So we'll just place some bus stops around here. We'll keep them off main roads so they don't clog up all of our traffic. And then we can just find our existing bus loop. We'll manage it. This one's probably better off just starting from scratch entirely. And then we can just follow a pretty logical loop around Louisville. Although it does do some weird stuff, so maybe we'll remove these, come here first, and then go out here. And we do have to stop at this one at some point. So we'll come in there and then follow around. Alright, so I think this loop keeps us off of most of the congested roads where we'll get stuck in traffic. And the vehicles, we'll replace them while we're here. And I think we'll add 3 more for good measure, because we did add quite a few stops. Alright, so that's going to be all for this episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.